Hello YouTube, it's time for me to talk about one of my least favorite Final Fantasy characters. I do not get you, Rinoa simps. I don't see the appeal. I don't like her personality in 8. She ain't all that either, but you know, I advocate simping responsibly. Okay, whatever, let's talk about the character. In this video, before you pull on Rinoa's FR and BT, I'm gonna give you some things to think about before you potentially use any of your gems, NF tickets, money, bread. If you know, you know. I want to hear you guys' take though on the banner and the character, and there's a couple of characters getting C90. We got Deuce is getting C90, Toto, Edward, they're all getting C90, and we got Transcendence 12. Oh man, you can tell how prepared I am for this. Anyways, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and tell me your reductionist take of Rinoa. Try to be creative here, because you know I've been seeing the NPC magic Tifa thing. High key, like Rinoa, since she has better AoE, she's more high key a magic Jack Garland than a magic Rinoa. But y'all ain't ready for this conversation. Okay, whatever, man. Let's. So I'm gonna say Tifa. I mean, God, I don't even know his name. Rinoa is basically a magic. She's a magic Vivi Charlotta. Oh, wait, they're both magic. All right, moving on. Rinoa, bombing. Run take, baby. Rinoa, she is a magic stance-based character. One of her stances focuses more on party support, healing, providing offensive buffs for the party. On the other side, she sacrifices her own HP to do more damage with her transformed Braven HP attacks. So she heals and batteries on one, and she DPSs on the other. Originally, Rinoa came out, you kind of ignored the support stance to do Unga Bunga damage, and her later revisions, they focused more on the support, but she didn't support very well, and they didn't up her damage, so she kind of sucked. And with this new revision, they just focused on her damage again, and voila, she's much better. She does have some party HP regen though, and burst heals, and some other goodies. Let's talk about the meat of her kit, and probably what a lot of people are going to be paying attention to. Her bursts! She gives 20% HP cap, 30% total, she's blue. She gives more party HP regen, and she protects the party as well. Party gets more HP damage. She's got a lot of HP damage in her kit. I didn't add it up between her LD rework and stuff, but she's got a lot of party HP damage and self. Brave cap, and she gets a new Ultima HP attack. Her BT finisher will place her in her offensive stance, and this one works. It's not like Machina, so I've seen people calling her basically a magic Machina, and that's not it, because Machina is tied to his burst effect, but Rinoa's not. You know how Charlotta, she presses her LD and she gets a couple uses of that 8 special HP? Same with Rinoa. It gives her like 6 flat. So even if her burst effect falls off, Rinoa can still hold on to these uses of HP attacks, which gives her immense flexibility. But this thing, it's a giant split HP nuke. 9 HP attacks if she's in Angel Wing, and 7 if she's in Angela mode in the support stance, which is that's a lot of damage. Versus 2 targets, that's 18 HP attacks total, which is a giant nuke. Rinoa is popular for that reason, so she just does a lot of damage. And her FR, if you press it, she's paired with Yuna, which hurts my heart. I'm sure that's how Ink felt when he saw 8 paired with Sabin, because man, I really don't like Rinoa, but why'd they have to put Perfection called Yuna next to her? Whatever. What am I talking about? It goes up 20% when she does when anyone does a magic attack. It goes 20% up when anyone attacks with an overhead. Pretty super easy, barely an inconvenience. It goes up 20% when a party member ends their turn with less than 100% HP. This works out well for Rinoa because she drains her HP on the attacks you want her doing. 20% more when Rinoa ends her turn with less than 100% HP. So on Rinoa's turns, you can get 80% a turn in a burst phase, which is cam levels. Woo! We have come full circle, haven't we? On top of that, the FR, when it's used, it reduces the party's HP, so they have a fighting chance of getting better conditions on their turns, at least for a little bit, even though Rinoa is providing HP regen, which is annoying. And you get even more party HP damage up. So, people are probably going to use Rinoa to nuke, naturally. But you want to avoid healing people back up or overhealing with Rinoa because you'll miss the conditions. Or you can also run her with Vivi, because Vivi does drain his own HP and keep the party's HP low. Cloud of Darkness has an overhead with magic attack, so does Ace, but they're not going to really be driving. This is primarily for Rinoa to drive, and as it should be. So pair with popular nuke strats, nothing new. same thing as always. So eval wise, Rinoa strengths. Rinoa is a ridiculous damage dealer. Her skill 2 is instant turn rate with no damage, and it's a gauge charge. So she's got that utility as well, which is hilarious considering how much damage she's already doing. She's got the best of both worlds. She's got a ton of party HP damage up. She's got roll coverage, so if you do need her to heal for some reason, she can also handle that. Or she can just drop a nuke on the bosses. It's crazy. And that special HP attack, while it's ideally she's using it in her burst phase, if you want to land on someone else's FR for some reason, if you're running Rinoa like Aerith, for example, or Charlotta, who have HP attack based FRs, then Rinoa doesn't have to be FRing during that. She can just let her nukes fly whenever she wants. So yeah, Rinoa's got so much insane roll coverage. This is a mistake of a character right here. Her weaknesses, her support stance, still kind of sucks. I mean, if you're bringing Rinoa for support, you should bring someone else for support. Really, like Rinoa is just a last ditch option unless you need something. But you probably don't want to be pressing her support buttons. HP management for the less skilled. It's kind of hard to die with Rinoa, especially because BT's bringing the reduced HP damage taken. But if you do have trouble dying, I guess that's a con. I'm really stretching here. And then her outfit, man, her outfit's worse than her personality, bro. I don't see why. Like, I would have preferred the blonde Rinoa over whatever pixie nonsense they gave her. That's a goofy ass costume. That's almost as bad as Kuja's costume, man. I don't know, but you can tell by my reach weaknesses that Rinoa's pretty busted. Yeah. So let's talk about the rest of the characters. Shantotto. I keep forgetting she's in the game, honestly. She's a magic wind, dark, and holy damage dealer. So her EX is holy. Skill 2 and LD are dark, say it. And skill 1 is, I think there's BT dark 2? Whatever. Say it. Why am I like this? Her EX drops an Omnia Imperil. She imperils every element in the game on 1 debuff. With her BT plus, she gets Party Dark Enchant. Held myself back from saying it that time. She got now 2 turn paralyzed on her LD. Used to be 1 turn with 100% defense down. She got a bunch of poisons too. Toto now dual casts on everything, so her EX goes twice, her skill 2 goes twice, not just her skill 1. Although I don't think, no, her LD doesn't go twice. But yeah, so she got a nice damage bump here, right on the cusp of lockout, the elemental lockout period being 3 months. Check out my video on that if you haven't, by the way. But even then, Toto is confused. She's not the greatest at damage, and most people who, like, back in the day, you know, not everyone was imperiling their elements, so Toto could enable everybody, but then everybody started imperiling their own elements, because that was mad annoying, right? So what's Toto supposed to do? Paralyze now, but what is she helping prevent? And then, oh, the defense down is handy, but then we got the C90 stat up. So like, what is Toto supposed to be doing? I don't know. Devs don't know. So yikes. Oh man, MMO fans take another L. At least Toto's getting an update. But Deuce is getting a C90, and I think Deuce is actually a bit of a sleeper. So she's a magic support. She buffs magic damage to health. So she came out around the same time as Barret, actually. Barret buffed physical attack, and Deuce buffed magical attack. And both their damage kind of sucked at the time, and now both their damage are actually a lot better now. Deuce also provides HP regen and burst heals, which is very handy. She's got actually very wide roll coverage. She's got gaze charge because skill 1 is instant turn, and her skill 1 now heals, so she got the burst heal there and on her LD. She actually does decent damage now. Skill 2 is 4 HP attacks. EX and LD are 5 HP attacks, and she gets a free skill after LD, which she can run on AA, or she could do some gaze charge with the skill 1. And she's got a 20% HP cap armor. So Deuce is on the Rinoa ban. So if you get her as Constellation, did I say Constellation? Too much Genshin. Christ. Deuce actually, I don't think is half bad. I might invest in Deuce. Am I running magic units enough to justify it? She's pretty generic, so she wouldn't necessarily fit in any FR conditions, but like something just like out there, if you need something generic to hit, I think Deuce is actually a pretty good support now. I'd argue this is probably her best tuning pass. Eduardo, the Will of Ink is not carried on here. She is I would appreciate that one. He is a magic stance-based debuff support. That was a mouthful. God, that didn't explain anything, actually. He presses LD and he puts the target to sleep. The debuff goes down when they're attacked. The debuff went up by 1 with his rework, and now he's got selfish evasion. If you play Final Fantasy IV, you know Edgar. Oh God, I need to play JP. Edward hides. And he used to give himself HP regen while he hid, but now the HP regen while he's hiding is extended to the entire party, so he's now a party HP healer. Hooray for roll coverage. He can debuff I Brave, attack, M Brave, and also Brave gains with his EX debuff once he gets up to 3 stacks. So that's pretty, used to be pretty handy. A little bit more niche now, but he also gets the special HP when he's hiding, which can help hit conditions. Just 3 HPs with splash. He's got minor gaze charge on his hide skill because it's non-damaging. So Eduardo. Edward is kind of all over the place. He's got niche stuff, as Blart keeps telling me. He does not have any party HP damage up, which is hilarious. I'm not quite sure if he fits in really anywhere. I guess the best part of his kit, force-wise, is the charge and the special HP. But I think Edward is a little confused right now. And I know he can solo some transcendences if that's what you care about, but otherwise, I don't think he's in the best spot. He's just in a weird spot. I can't quite think of anywhere he fits, unfortunately, but it is what it is. It's in a weird spot. And then on the last bit of characters, we have Vivi, fire, dark, magic, damage dealer. Hold myself back there again. And he drains the party's HP after using his LD and his LD follow-ups, which actually pairs pretty nicely with Rinoa if you want to keep everyone's HP low. Got defense ignore, as we're seeing in this recent JP fight matters. He's got a single use special HP, that's a nuke. Vivi not in the greatest spot right now. He's a bit power crypt, hasn't been updated. So, and then fire and dark are getting cooked these next 3 months. So, and then we got Relm, who's a magic offensive support. She acts after enemies who have her sketch debuff on, similar to Eld. If you see any gameplay on that, she's a warper. Warpers, but her warp turns don't do that much damage. She's got a special HP, but I mean, Relm's not in a good spot either. So let's bring it all back together. Rinoa's FR. Before you pull on this banner, what do I think? What are my suggestions? People on the fence, maybe don't know what to decide, kind of going back and forth. Like, should I save? Should I do something with my resource? Do I need to get this character? I'll give you my plans right now. I don't have Rinoa's LD, and like I said, I don't know what it is. Something about her face. I don't know. I just don't like Rinoa, so I'm not touching this banner at all. I have Deuce and Vivi's LD already, and I would legit not use Rinoa. I have a unique fully 5 out of 5 too. So, but I mean, she is still, again, the same. If what your people who are going for Rinoa are probably gonna do are just the selfie Luna charge, blow it up, move on with my day, say Shenryu is boring because they run strategy, but then cry when Dare to Defy comes out. Anyways, so she'll primarily do that. Yeah, you can run her at other comps, obviously. You can run her with other stuff, but Rinoa's a really good character. But I skipped her in JP, high key. I didn't even know what she did until I read her kit like yesterday. And it just didn't matter. I don't think I just like Rinoa so much. I never even watched a Rinoa video. Like I just didn't care. I mean, obviously she's handy. She's got the gaze charge. She's got the nukes. She's got pretty much everything that you can run this character to the ground pretty much. She's still kicking in JP right now. So, but what people are gonna have to ask themselves is their roster good enough? Like, I know I'm gonna get the inevitable. Probably the people. I hope the people who ask this are listening at this point. You're gonna ask, oh, if I have X DPS, do I need Rinoa? And the answer to that is, are you clearing content handily? Because you probably don't need Rinoa. Especially with Force now, we can make our damage dealers last. Tidus is still kicking. Machina is still kicking. We got off-turn teams now. So, is there any situation in which I recommend Rinoa if you're already handily beating endgame? Not really. Maybe save. Those gems could be saved for another form of power creep in a bit. Leaning one, Dare to Defy is a thing, thankfully. So, well, no, lockouts are a thing, but at a certain point, especially because we know the boss HP isn't going to be increasing for a couple months, it really is worth taking a big look at your roster and be like, if I were to stretch my roster out over 7 fights, would I have enough to beat it? And the answer is probably. So I think if you're good enough on damage dealers and you've been pulling obsessively on them for the past couple months, you could probably safely skip Rinoa and not really care about it. If you're a big number chaser, then you should get Rinoa. And I do think that Rinoa at least has the benefit of having Deuce on the banner, especially if you're newer. If you are newer, then I'd say that this is a great banner, especially Deuce. Deuce is actually, I think, a bit of a sleeper. Other than that, man, this is just such a cut and dry character. And my bias is definitely getting in the way. I just don't see the appeal. So my definitive answer, if you have Tifa, I'm gonna just say it. Just skip Rinoa, bro. You don't need her. You really don't. Rinoa definitely outdamages Tifa AoE, but Tifa's hotter. So that's all I got. Let me know what you guys think. Transcendence, whatever, is next, and that fight's interesting and not terribly challenging. I'm more excited for Aerith. If anything, like if you were missing an LD between the Rinoa banner and the Aerith banner, like you got Aerith and Kurosame versus Rinoa and Deuce. I'm going Aerith all day. 7 bias out the way. Anyways, I've been rambling a bit. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me hear your reductionist take. Let me know what Rinoa basically is, what kind of DPS she is, and I'll catch you guys later. All right, peace.